Changing the mindset offensively for VGK. More next on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. I am a longtime sportscaster, a marketing consultant, and the host of the new Believe in Vegas podcast on the Believe Network. He is Chris Golick, the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports, and the collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Now, coming up ahead on today's show, we will talk about Tuomas Uronen, correct pronunciations there, and him inking an entry-level contract coming off of a huge injury. What a monster season he had in the OHL this past year. And we'll also talk about the Stars' third period comeback. What a game there for Dallas and the Panthers-Canes Game 2 preview. But first, of course, after VGK lost in 5 games, Chris, to the Edmonton Oilers, Bruce Cassidy, his immediate reaction in his first presser, he said that he would probably have to work on changing the mentality of his team to put more pucks on net after getting shut out in the final 2 games of the series. Would you call that a drought? I call that a drought. In his final presser after locker cleanout day, he again doubles down after some of that emotion wears off, and Cassidy continues to talk about changing the mindset. And he said that you have to have a game plan. Everyone knows that pucks are going to the net. And he said that there are players on VGK that like to hang on to the puck and make more plays. Who might he be talking about? Cassidy said the changes will be made based on, quote, personnel. That's what really stood out to me, which leads us to further believe that they will be adding players, offensive players and what have you there, forwards, and we're going to see some changes here in the offseason.
Okay, fine. Cool, Cassidy. McCrimmon has $10 million in salary cap space to work with. And again, just a reminder that $10 million, part of that is going to be stretched between Riley Smith, Brandon Saad, Olofsson, Holtz, Schwintz, Pearson, Ron Bjerg, Nick Hague, and Samsonov or a backup goaltender. So $7 million is gone for a handful of those players right there, likely starting with Smith and Hague, and then getting the RFA deals inked, and then whatever's left, we'll see what happens after that. So now McCrimmon has $3 or $4 million to work with. How are you going to change the system with the current personnel? This team is built somewhat around Coach Cassidy's system. Ivan Barbashev, prime example. That's a Cassidy guy right there. That's a guy that, Coach Cassidy really has his thumbprint on as far as that player coming to, I guess, the former system of Golden Knights Coach Cassidy, which was defense first, limit the neutral zone, transitional opportunities, strike hard when the other team makes a mistake. That's Coach Cassidy's system. Now we're talking finesse and shoot first and all these different things. Fine. But the personnel has to be in place. How do you change, that? And that's my concern, right? I mean, there's a lot of concerns in the offseason. That's my first concern is, square peg, round hole. How's this going to happen?
Yeah, they also talked, Cassidy was talking about changing shooting angles. I know on this show you've discussed that a ton.
I love the tough angle shots. I love them.
You really do.
I do.
A lot of them do go in. And he said something that stood out. He said, we know what players will be back. He said, but we know that there are new players. He kind of, he had to kind of stop himself. New players. You have to look at that as an avenue when things aren't going well on offense. Shoot first mentality. And it's all going to begin with Jack Eichel, because he doesn't have that shoot first mentality, and he does want to make that perfect pass.
This is where you wonder if the culmination of Eichel winds up being Dorofeev on his wing almost in that Jonathan Marchessault role where Marchessault was shoot first. Marchessault was not a finesse player by any means. He could play that type of game. He can cycle if need be, but Marchessault, the second he gets that puck in a plus area in a shooting zone, he's firing. He's firing everything. And then back to those sharp angles. No one ever practices sharp angle shots. I've been to hundreds of NHL practices, fan media, and everything in between. You never see them practicing those high danger, those tough angle shots, which is why goaltenders struggle with them. But back to the system and everything. Dorofeev fits this role. Dorofeev fits a finesse role. He fits the shoot first mentality. It's not like the Golden Knights don't have these players in place. They have some. Howden you can put in that category, who's going to rush the net and shoots. Barbashev, we talked about. He's Cassidy's system as far as maybe on the finesse side, but don't kid yourself. Barbashev can mold himself to that shoot first. So who is Coach Cassidy talking about now? You said
right
early on, Jack Eichel, which, I mean, again, he's not picking on Eichel. We're simply talking about Eichel being a little more selfish, even though he did a couple of years ago. He was in the top 3 in shots per game.
After I said he needs to shoot more.
Shoot more. Dude, he's like 4th in the league in shooting, Tony.
That was really good. Yeah. And they still want
as far as players on the
more.
bottom, just like real fast, like William Karlsson, he's not shoot first. Riley Smith, he's not shoot first. Mm-hmm. Keegan Kolesar, fine, shoot first, but he's 4th line. Tanner Pearson will do whatever he needs to do. And now you love with Nicolas Roy, who's much more finesse than shoot first. So are the Golden Knights, is Kelly McCrimmon really just going to trade away 2 or 3 notable pieces, a Nick Roy, an Ivan Barbashev, a Zach Whitecloud, and then all of a sudden these new finesse players are going to come in? Now we're talking video game trades. We're talking some of the comments we're getting on YouTube. Trade Stone, trade Hill, do this, do that. And it's not how it works. I'm not knocking anyone for the comments. We appreciate them. But this isn't NHL 2025 when you get into the offseason. You trade, these players for draft picks, and then you go and sign everyone for max contracts to put a dream team together. It's not how it works.
In the Edmonton series, you could say that VGK was the gang that could not shoot straight because they missed the net so many times. And that's something you're going to have to fix. And I don't know.
Edmonton defense, credit.
Okay, Edmonton's defense. When the going gets tough, he said this is a way to generate chances. Okay, fair. The mindset is the puck and the players have to arrive at the net at the same time. And again, net front presence, we've talked about that. And you need more sandpaper. We've discussed that, and that's a change they're going to have to make. They need to get someone who can just camp out there and not be moved, and watching, all the playoffs and the Dallas series. I mean, they were just flooding the crease, absolutely flooding the crease last night in the third period. And then make those east-west plays. Analytics show the goalie, has to, they can't make those stops there on the sharp angles. It's so funny that you say that because they practice like a lot, deflections all the time. They always practice. But why not the sharp angle shots? That's a great observation there.
I don't know if I've ever seen a drill designed to shoot from the lines, kind of the face-off circle, like the edge of the face-off circle closest to the boards, and like a deflection or a tip drill from there. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I'm not saying no one practices. I'm sure someone practices it. But this goes back to when I've mentioned this 4 or 5 times probably in the last month now, when I covered the Canadian USA, the women's series. I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. But talking to Sarah Nurse after the game, Sarah Nurse scored a goal from her feet were below the goal line. The puck was above the goal line. She was in the corner by the Zam tunnel, threw it onto the net. And I think I started the interview with her by put the puck on net and good things happen. And then that's when she educated me about the goalie coach actually gave her that suggestion. We talked about the goalie coach's role in all this, Sean Burke. The goalie coach's role isn't just to work with the home team's goalie, it's to scout the other team's goalie. So the Canadian goalie coach scouted something as to why Sarah Nurse was taking that shot. So those weird sharp angle shots, there's money to be made for an NHL player that for a kid that starts working on that now in their travel house programs, or their travel leagues, instead of trying these razzle dazzle plays, just fire from sharp angles and just watch what happens. I mean, it'd be really fun to watch a player like that come up through the ranks. But again, kind of back to the topic here now. you're talking about those other teams, Tony. You're talking about what the Panthers are doing right now. Not knocking the Canes, just the Panthers are hot right now. You saw that Stars Oilers game, just transition goal after transition goal, and the teams are just burning each other out there. And again, they're shooting first. That's definitely the mentality, even with the likes of McDavid and Draisaitl out there. They do, drive the net very, very, very tough. And you mentioned about the traffic and everything. How do you just change the Golden Knights to this? How do you do that? And
right.
there are
Overnight.
concerns about the money in the salary cap. We talked about that. And, it's not going to be an easy transition. And then in all of this, we're talking about the system changing. The one thing we haven't asked ourselves is, can Cassidy coach like this? Can he be a successful coach? The 2023 model, I know I'm going long here, but the 2023 model, Tony, you talked about the Golden Knights winning the cup with their physicality. You talked about the league being a copycat league, other teams copying what they do. Well, okay, fine. Now the Golden Knights are in that copycat realm. Not realm. I just said realm. That's bad.
That's mode.
They need
or
to.
realm. Yeah.
Are they going to copy Dallas? Are they going to copy Edmonton? And that's
Edmonton.
not necessarily Cassidy's repertoire.
No, and so that leads me
Okay.
to my question here. So of course they go dry there in the playoffs. VGK was 5th in the NHL in scoring during the regular season.
Yeah.
But here's the big question. I was wondering last night if this was an edict to change things
A what?
from an edict from Kelly McCrimmon.
Edict.
Did Kelly? Oh, he's Googling stuff here.
I am Googling.
Was this something that Kelly McCrimmon said, we need to change this and we need to do this now heading into next season? Is this from McCrimmon down? I don't know, because I'm a manager and not a coach. But do you feel that McCrimmon actually said we need to change this up? Because there was predictability to some degree last season when VGK bowed out in the first round.
Edict, an official order or proclamation issued by a person in authority. So there you go.
Is that okay? Is that the right word? Sometimes I get,
No, you're good. You got it, dude.
Okay.
You hit it. I did EDIC first, and then
there's
I
a
got
T at the end, I believe.
So we're good. Yeah, we got it. So good call, Tony. Good job. You do wonder what those private conversations are like, and most of them probably aren't private. McPhee's probably there as well. And you do wonder, we've talked about, okay, Tony, going back to the missed playoff season, a big narrative we had was outside interference. And there was so much more outside interference that I learned about, 4 years later after that team between McCrimmon and DeBoer. And DeBoer wound up basically putting the final nail into his coffin in that game when Robin Lehner let in an early goal in the end of the 2022 season and got yanked right away and put Logan Thompson. That was the game against the Capitals, if you remember.
Yeah.
There was a lot of heartache caused, if you will.
Is that was that the game where Ovi, that shot put a dent in the helmet of Lehner?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if that was the one.
Remember
or not.
that shot that just put a big old.
No, I 100% know what you're talking about.
helmet,
I do. I don't know if it was that particular game, but so that particular circumstance, really, really quick here, and this ties into the outside interference and changing the system, of course. But McCrimmon tells DeBoer, "Hey, Robin Lehner's starting tonight, not Logan Thompson," and that caused some drama, if you will, at City National that day. Robin Lehner lets in a cookie early on, gets yanked immediately. Logan comes in. The Golden Knights win in overtime to extend their opportunity to make the playoffs. It was basically a must-get 2 points game, and they got it. So we're talking about edicts from above and everything here. There we go. It could be a whole topic. And you do see this outside interference happening. Now, is Kelly McCrimmon, hey, you got to change everything and this isn't going to work? I don't think that's happening. But are there conversations about this is why the Oilers are winning? And it's not just because McDavid and Draisaitl are amazing players. Look at their system. This is why the Panthers are winning. The Panthers are what the Golden Knights need to be right now. They are that endurance team that will knock you into the first row with the guy eating the nachos, Alec Martinez. And that's where the Golden Knights need to get back to. But I think now it's shoot first, hit second, and I don't know. I mean, it's May 22nd. These are where the conversations go now.
Yeah, they're going to have to practice this all summer long about just, again.
All summer long, they do captain skates for 3 or 4 days, and then they got basically 2 weeks of training camp and the season starts. So, sure.
Coming up next, VGK signs Tuomas Uronen there. to an entry-level contract. What a comeback story. We'll talk about that when we come back right here on Locked On Golden Knights. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Are they ever? As a Knicks fan, I did not sleep at all last night. And every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments, whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player or a team that scores 20 points in the final 235. There's never been a better time to get into the action than now. FanDuel makes it so easy to stay in the game before tip-off, and then, of course, the live bets, the player props, the performance trends, the same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and to win big. And again, you can also take a look at it and combine live prop bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds. That's something good. And then, of course, you can also win, or I should say, yes, you could get $200 in bonus bets if you win the first $5 bet. So you can check out FanDuel all the time. Check out the current odds. They keep moving and shifting. And, of course, the player props. It's something that Chris really likes in the NHL.
Always.
If you are new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you will get $200 in bonus bets. That's right. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast, and make sure, if you have not yet, to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel.
What was the over/under in your next game yesterday? I only asked because
I didn't look at it. I just know the line was 4, bet up to 4.5, back to 4, and closed at -3.5. I have a huge dilemma here, Golick. Huge dilemma. So I'm a lifelong Knicks fan. But I'm also friends with the president of the Pacers, Kevin Pritchard. And so I'm just really stuck. I did not text him. I did not say good luck. Everyone knows I'm the Knicks fan around here. So
10 seconds here. Christina Walters put out there.
What would you do? It's like, I can't win. I can't win.
I'd chirp him. I would chirp him.
No, not the president of the Pacers.
I would chirp him.
I'm sorry, I would.
I would chirp him. No, Christina put out there. I think Christina Walters put out there that at least they have a chance to hit the over now since it went to overtime. There's like 270 points. Would the over under have really been like 240?
No,
do these teams not play defense?
The Knicks were awful and they kept switching and just stupid.
I don't know. I don't follow basketball much anymore, and I saw that score. I'm like, how are they worried about hitting the over or under? The over or the over under at that point?
How do you give up 20 points in the final 235?
This is basketball. No one plays defense. All 3-pointers and slam dunks. It's terrible. It's boring.
So, again, back to the topic here in this segment.
You think Uronen's a good basketball player?
Who is?
Do you think Uronen plays basketball?
Uronen?
Tuomas? No. Basketball? No.
No, I don't think so. So the Kingston Frontenacs, they tweeted out that he came to Kingston coming off of a major injury, and nobody really knew what to expect. But Tuomas Uronen became a superstar in K-Town. He sure did. He finished the season, Chris, with 38 points, 38 goals, 90 points, 38 goals and 90 stinking points.
Mm-hmm.
And now he signs an ELC with the Golden Knights. He was at one point the OHL's player of the month for the month of January. He's been here before in the rookie camps, from everything that we recall, good skater, and the one-time second pick in the 192nd pick there. I'm not a manager, and I'm not a coach either, and I'm definitely not a podcaster. 192nd player picked in the 2023 NHL draft.
So when I was covering the team a little more frequently, I remember going to rookie camp a couple days, and I just remember liking his vision across the neutral zone. One of those players that instead of, mindset, chip and chase and all that, he's He was trying to carry the pucks through the neutral zone with speed and generating scoring chances that way. It's not a knock. I'm not saying he shouldn't be dumping and chasing in a rookie camp, but that's where you show your skill set and everything. And I just felt watching him, he was a little faster than a lot of the players in the rookie camp. And it's like, okay, let's keep an eye on this guy. Park this name in the memory bank for a little while and see if it comes up again. Well, it did. Looking at the OHL, this is just some curiosity things on my side here. Like, where do his stats really rank? 38 was tied for 38 goals, was tied for 9th overall in goals scored. His 50 assists did not even trigger the top 10, which I found interesting. Leader was 77, 10th overall was 57. You got Michael Misa up there scoring a lot of points. He's a projected number 1 overall pick this year. So you have a lot of talent coming out of the OHL. So the next question I asked, I wanted to look around and just kind of see what players have come out of the OHL recently and, maybe where Uronen might end up going to. Well, you got Luke Evangelista, Oathman, Wyatt Johnson, Cartier, Will Cooley, Daniel Gushchin. These are all regulars at the NHL level who played in the OHL in 21-22. A quick Google search. OHL players to play in the NHL. Oh, yeah. McDavid, Stamkos, John Tavares, and playoff failure Mitch Marner had to go there, and John Tavares. So maybe that's not good. So point being is you look at the pedigree, you look at the career path, you look at everything. It's like, wow, 6th round. I don't know if this was a scouting thing or they flipped a coin at the draft table and landed on Tuomas, but it's definitely looking like someone who I don't know how this works. If he goes back to OHL now, if he plays in the American League, I don't know the path now. But point being is, I don't think we're talking about someone that makes the roster this season and even really competes hard when they bring everyone back for training camp. But, 2026, 2027, that's when you really might see Uronen having that possibility. He's only 20 years old, so he's got plenty of time to develop and everything. Could be a good one down the road. Maybe sooner than later. Who knows? I mean, Kelly McCrimmon never want to tell a player they can't make a team. So there you go.
Start him in Tahoe. Now you have, the ECHL team up there.
That's not the best idea. You don't see a lot there. I mean, I'd have to look. There's not a lot of players who start in the coast, get up to the American League, and like the coast is like almost triple. You don't want to be triple A. Like double A is where you kind of get elevated. You're being developed for the major league. When you get kind of stuck in triple A, that's kind of not a good place. Kind of the same thing for hockey to a degree with the coast.
This is a player, Uronen, that had a knee injury, severe. In fact, I looked that up. He had to have a cartilage transplant.
Was this before or after he was drafted, out of curiosity?
This had to be after he was drafted in the season. So drafted in 23, probably had, or around the same time. Maybe he was hurt that year or early 24. And then he comes back here in 24, 25 and has that outstanding season with the Kingston Frontanics. That's an interesting name for a team. You might want to look that up, what that the heck means. And a player from Finland. So we know one thing, he can finish, get that, Finland. And then, he won a silver at the 2025 World Juniors. So a good big time player now, international experience, big size kid too, from everything that I've seen. And I think sooner or later he'll contribute here with the VGK. They need to develop him.
Pro Hockey Rumors is projecting him to be in the American League, and depending on VGK's cap and injury situation, even possibly make the Golden Knights at some point next season. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much water that carries, but either way, that's certainly something interesting. Uronen also had a big overtime game-winning goal in the World Juniors under 20 championships against Team USA. Lane Hudson was kind of on his way down, but came down, executed a 2-on-1, and puck winds up in the back, and that Finland goes home happy. You like the scoring mentality, you like the speed, you like the vision. I mean, maybe this is the camp standout. Maybe this is the episode we go back to that occurred on the morning of May 22nd, and we say, wow, okay, talked about all the possibilities this kid has. Well, all of a sudden now we're talking a dark horse, bad pun, Silver Knights. We're talking a dark horse that might make some noise competing for the roster. This is where a player like him, could have the advantage. I mean, this is where you ask questions like a Tanner Pearson who's going to be stuck on the fourth line, or someone like Uronen who can be in the middle six, who has upside. Like these are all, the general manager discussions that happen. And of course, Coach Cassidy gets to make a decision once McCrimmon decides. I'm not saying he's going to be on the Golden Knights next year, maybe for a lot, but just maybe it's a name don't forget about.
Now I'm going to bank his name alongside Jackson Hallam, who I really liked. And then he had that devastating knee injury too, and missed time at the University of Michigan. And I think he's back on track now. Stay with us.
Time to talk prospects tomorrow, maybe as our second segment. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. It's kind of that season.
Okay. Tis the season. Stay with us. Coming up next, the Stars' big third period comeback last night and game number 2, Panthers-Canes. We'll talk about it next right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back from Las Vegas. Locked On Golden Knights. Tomorrow, don't forget, is WTF Day around here, around these parts. Make sure that you comment. That's the fun part of this show. Saturdays, sometimes in between hockey practices, and it's almost time for you guys to go to that water theme park.
I think we're going next Wednesday, actually.
Is it already that time?
That time,
Chris Jr. show. That's on Saturday's YouTube exclusive. And please subscribe there. We appreciate it. We are the only daily VGK podcast.
Still the only. Still.
Longest running too. Longest running.
Okay, that's interesting.
Season 5 is coming up shortly here. Stuart Skinner. That's crazy. I know. Stuart Skinner has given up 11 goals in his last 2 game number 1s. That's why I said bet the over. This guy's only good.
You did say that yesterday, Tony. You did say that.
This guy's only good games 4 through 7.
And I've got my script right as well, Tony, really fast here. I talked about this with Ken Thompson yesterday, and I talked about this in our show. I said the script in this series based on what the FanDuel odds were. You take the Stars game 1.
Yep.
You take that money, take your winnings if you want, so you're free rolling, and now you get plus 155 on the Oilers for the series. That's the script.
Say that.
That's the script. That's the script.
Should be good. So here's a Stars team that was trailing 3-1 going into the third, and the Stars struck 5 times in the third period. It sounds crazy en route to the 6-3 victory. The biggest surprise was 3 consecutive goals coming on the power play for the Dallas Stars. Why is Stuart Skinner? We need to do an examination here. Why is he good later in series and not early on? Does it take him some time to kind of figure out a team? There's got to be something there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know Skinner is who he is to Vegas, and I mean, he was Marty Brodeur for a couple of games there, and then of course he goes and plays against the Stars, and he's who's a good goalie? He's Cristobal Huey. There you go. He runs. There you go. I got another Cristobal Huey reference in there. So Marty Turkle, maybe. Terrible. What the Hawks were thinking with those 2 goalies. Anyway, going back to Skinner and everything. Maybe it is just that it's the reverse scouting, right? It's the scouting report that the visiting teams have, and they find a way to take advantage. And then it's a combination of Skinner's ability to adjust and the Oilers goalie coach ability to educate Skinner on what's coming. I mean, again, I know we're reaching a little bit, but I think he's an NHL goalie. He does deserve that credit because of what we have seen him do, not just against the Golden Knights, but in his career in general, how he has gotten better. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how that plays out. Don't get me wrong, that plus 155 Oilers series bet isn't as appetizing with the real Skinner back there, but as history has told us, Skinner will get better. And 3 power play goals, like you said, it's kind of fluky right there. Oilers were not known for a penalty kill. We talked about that as one of our keys to the series. That's why I said Shea Theodore for his points prop, his FanDuel points prop, because I thought the Golden Knights would have better success on the power play against the Oilers. Well, Pete DeBoer, and someone said, I wish I could credit you, but I didn't see who it was, but someone said Steve Spott's power play, 2 goals in this economy. That was good. I'm sorry if you listen to the show, I didn't credit you. I stole it and I didn't see who your name was. I would have happily if I would have.
That's tremendous. So I had that dual screen going on YouTube TV, kind of like you and I right now, and I'm watching hockey and the NBA. At the
Got
same
it.
time, the Knicks are melting down. I'm watching Dallas just starting the meltdown of the Oilers in that
So
game.
you're an Oilers fan. You're upset that was happening, Tony? Because I know you're a Knicks fan.
I was just like, what is going on here? Just scoring, like back and forth for Dallas and for the Pacers. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final. Panthers lead this one 1-0. Can the Hurricanes break the conference final losing streak at 13 straight losses? They've lost now the last 5 to Florida. Brindamore's lost himself 9 straight in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's not funny, but it is.
It's funny.
Again, their last conference final win was in 2006, Game 7 against Buffalo. So they lost to the Penguins in 2009, the Bruins in 2019, Florida in 2023, and now that again extends to 2025. I think that this is a much better Carolina team. But again, the strength, that's the one word that just comes to mind of this Panthers team. They're just imposing their will right now on teams like they did in Game 7 there up in Canada, and now they're doing it with the Carolina Hurricanes.
So number one, credit Vegas Hockey Night. A Steve Spott power play has 2 goals, question mark, exclamation, question mark, in this economy. So Vegas Hockey Night, good job on
tremendous,
that.
Tremendous.
That's a great tweet. As far as, let's look at the line for tonight's game. The series right now, number one is -240.
Yeah,
for Florida. So
the
sportsbooks already said game. They're already calling game on the series right now, which I don't know if that's the best idea or not. As far as the game tonight, -128 Carolina, Florida short dog at +106. So looking deeper into that game 1 between Carolina and Florida, Carolina had 15 high danger chances to the Panthers 5. So that right there tells me that the Hurricanes played a winning brand of hockey that game. Their X goals for were much better than Florida's. Basically, it should have been double what the scoring outcome was, and it wasn't. So it looked like the Hurricanes played the right game, and the Panthers were opportunistic. So if I'm Brindamore, I'm going to sleep comfortably, at least knowing that his team could have and should have won game number 1. Now, you got those demons, you got the skeletons in the closet. What does it take to win a conference final game? Why can't I win in the Eastern Conference Final? That's tough because you got the pressure of the series. You got the pressure of trying to win a Stanley Cup. Ron Brindamore won it with Carolina as a player, 06, 05, 20 years ago, whatever that was. He wants to bring that back and prove he can bring that back. But you got to start wondering about Brindamore if he winds up going 0-15 or 0-16 in that many straight conference final games. Like, how do you come back from that as a coach? I don't know.
Yeah, and I just have the feeling if the Panthers win game 2 tonight, it's going to, I think they're going to
pressure down.
It's
over if that happens. I'm sorry. I'll declare that one done. If that happens.
That would be done. So tomorrow for the show, we've got WTF. What did you have on your napkin? Because my napkin says effects of 4 nations. We need to talk about that. We can lead with that maybe tomorrow unless something happens. What else did you say?
Confirmed 15-5 high danger chances Carolina. So I want to make sure I didn't miss that. Carolina over the Panthers.
That's crazy. No, you got that.
Prospects, just kind of a look around who else might be popping up. That was the
popping up for VGK.
We can do some either ors. Like you wonder if the Golden are going to make a decision between like a White Cloud and a Haig. You wonder if it's going to be between Saad and Riley Smith. Some stuff like that could be some good, fun topics coming up. But
all right, coming up, yeah, we've got plenty of time to do this.
Yeah, we've got we're full time until mid-July.
Are we going to agree? My edict, you like that word, is to focus on the effects of 4 nations because we did have a lot of impact there from 4 nations.
Yeah, it'd be fun to just go through Twitter and find quotes from other coaches about the effects too.
All right, thanks for putting me to work. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers tuning in around the world, especially our good friends in Singapore. Gotta always give them the shout out.
South America, we're getting downloads too. Thanks, Frank and Condos.
Oh, they're there. That's right. Thanks for tuning in for us there. More people. Did they subscribe yet? I hope they did.
They better.
Tomorrow's WTF Day, so get those comments on the X and also on YouTube. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights, and please take care.